welcome to the first episode to the Beyond the Game podcast with your host, Edwin Ramos and
Matthew Murillo.
And today we will be talking about the different controversies and stories in baseball. So let's start it off with segment number 1, Torpedo Bats controversy.
Let's jump right in and talk about the Torpedo Bats controversy that has been going around in baseball. This all started when New York Yankees player Chisholm Jr. was seen using an unusual sized bat in their game against the Milwaukee Brewers. Chisholm, in that game, hit a home run and to conclude a clobbering 20-9 finish against the Brewers. After the game, the news spread about the bat being used and how it may be illegal due to the sheer size of the bat. So, what do we think about this?
I think that this is a huge topic because using an unusual sized bat in the major leagues can really affect the player and also the pitcher. Usually a bat size is 2.41 inches, I believe, or it's 2.61 inches, one of those two. But the thing is that those bats that were being used are legal. People say they weren't, but they are legal. But here's where the controversy begins. Some pitchers have been asked about it, and they have said, what's holding us back from using substances to help us pitch better to throw at those batters now? Because to us, it feels like an unfair advantage. So what does that do to us and all that of getting to throw something else?
So you're comparing the torpedo bats to something as illegal like using substances between matches.
Yeah, like people...
Like steroids.
Steroids, all this. That's what people are kind of comparing it to. Pitchers are saying that it's illegal, but what's going to make it to make it more illegal? To make it more illegal or something. Mm-hmm. Using substances or something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, I guess the league could just simply ban the bats, but then again, there'd be still a whole different conversation that has to be had between what is and what shouldn't be illegal in the games.
Yeah. And also, the league just said recently that the bats are legal, but that's also where more people are arguing because they feel like now it's going to be much easier to hit the ball because it looks like the barrel is more thicker. But the thing is, it's legal still. That's why it's confusing for some people. But I think, in my opinion, if you're going to be using those, why wouldn't there be a chance to use something else for the pitchers to have a fair advantage, I see. Honestly.
So you think that they should also have an advantage if the other team, the hitter, is using the bat?
Yes, I think so. I think it'll give more views, in my opinion, to the league. And I think they do need to get more views. But if they do let pitchers use substances and all this, I think it'll be good for the game, in my opinion. I know for a fact other people won't agree, but I just think so because illegal substances, thicker bat, that's going to be something to watch all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I guess you have a good point about if people should continue to use the bats, they should at least do something about the substances, or at least give a fair playing ground for the pitchers.
That's true.
Yeah, I do agree. While the bats and their size do play
huge part?
Do play a huge part in, depending on if a team wins, yes, the pitchers should be getting some sort of different advantage. Like maybe a wider mitten or something?
Glove, a wider glove.
Wider glove.
Yeah.
Or at least like lesser strikes maybe, or misses? Is that
balls?
the word?
Yeah, balls. Yeah, less balls counted against them, have more advantage with them.
Yes.
So you also agree then, if batters are using this now, it also should be allowed for pitchers to do something else. The league should also do something for the pitchers with all of this going on, or you don't agree with it?
Well, if they do move forward with it not wanting to be illegal, yes, they should at least provide fair advantage to both parts. But I do think that they should make it illegal, considering the usage of steroids and everything else. Any illegal drug to level them up in the playing field is illegal. So I don't know. Yeah, the bats should be discussed. The torpedo bats should be discussed on being banned from games.
Okay. Yeah, I do agree with that. And I think that's what we both think about them. I mean, there's other people that are thinking the opposite. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. I mean, the league already made up their mind with keeping the bats like that.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how long it holds up and if people want to go back to using the normal bats, because I have seen some players using the torpedo bats and they don't see any progress, because you got to remember, it's not the bats, it's the player. It's the player that's using them. So
yeah. So I have a question. When was the first instance that these torpedo bats were used? Do you have like a date?
Yeah. This first happened on March 29th against the Milwaukee Brewers. That's when it first happened, because at the start of the game, Jess Chisholm Jr., the player from the Yankees, from the New York Yankees, it was told by the commentator of the Yankees broadcast that he was using a different type of bat, different sizing and everything, and that's when they kind of looked into it. And after the game, that's when it kind of like spread out, like the news spread around that, oh, new bat, why does it look different? Is it illegal? Legal? That's when all this controversy started. But yeah, it's been going on for 3 weeks already, 2-3 weeks. So it's kind of still a huge topic right now, even though it's already been 2 weeks.
And has it been used more than once, or is that the only time?
No, it's been used multiple times, more than once. Yeah, a lot of players are using them, but that's where it also goes back to the question, is it the bat or is it the player? Who uses it the most? Just is a player who's, let's just say, for example, like a player that's the best one on their team. He's doing super good just using a regular bat, and he switches to the torpedo bat. And let's just say he doesn't do good. You expect him to go back to the normal one because he's doing super good with it. And that's his thing. You got to remember at that point, oh, it's the player. It's not the bat that makes it better. The player's power, strength, everything, their skill level. Their skill, boom, there.
The skill ceiling is a bit high.
Yeah. Hey, they gotta get used to it. And it's also a bat. So you got to remember, it might be thicker, but it could also be heavier or weigh less. And they have to get used to it. And because baseball games are always one day after another, it takes a long time to adjust to it, depending on how that player practices.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are our opinions for the torpedo bats. That's what we think about them. And then we will be right back with our next segment.
Welcome back. We are still your hosts, Matthew Murillo and
Edwin Ramos.
Okay, so moving on to our next topic, which is our MLB contracts, good or bad. Do you want to take this one?
Yes, I will. Okay, so we recently saw that the star player from the Toronto Blue Jays, 26-year-old Vladimir Guerrero Jr., has signed a 14-year, $500 million contract with them, an extension, because he would have been a free agent after this season. So that just takes off a huge problem with the Toronto Blue Jays if they weren't going to keep him. But that raises the main question for a lot of people. Are these type of contracts good, or are they bad? We've also seen the Los Angeles Dodgers give Shohei Ohtani, who is probably their biggest player by far right now, and who gives them a huge amount of money. I'm going to just say that.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
Isn't that the Fortnite guy?
Yeah. Yes, it is. But yeah, we've seen him get his 10-year, $700 million contract at an age 30. And just recently, to make it bigger of the contracts, New York Mets player Juan Soto got his record-breaking 15-year, $765 million contract at age 26. We could see that all these three players are in their 20s. At the time Ohtani got it, it was around I think 29 years old, but now he's 30.
Dang. So they're set for life.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. They're literally set for life now. They're double-digit years, so yeah, they're set for life. But we see this, and we think to ourselves, are these contracts going to affect other teams and the players also? Because you're seeing superstars in the league of baseball, in Major League Baseball, get double-digit years, multi-year contracts, over $300 million now. And you wonder, how are these players going to feel about all of this going on? More than likely, superstars are going to want more money. But that also raises a question. Are they going to be skilled later in those ages, in those years? Because if you're already 30, you got your 10 years. The time the contract ends, you're going to be 40. So that just sees, it's just what is going to be the problem? Is it going to be contract years? Is it going to be skill? Or is it going to be the money that people want to get?
Yeah. So a hypothetical question. Let's say you were offered the deal. How would you react? Or a
huge amount, multi-year, over 300 million.
Yeah.
All of that.
Or at least, well, let me rephrase that. If you saw the players getting that, how would you react? Would you want to also benefit from that? Or would you oh, it's whatever. They're a better player than me?
I would honestly be 50-50. I want to say, I would be aware of if I'm skilled or not. I would really want to go 50-50. I'm seeing them, if I was a player, if I'm seeing players get that much money in my head, I'm okay, work more harder, put in the effort, you'll get that money. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's damn, okay, they're working harder than me. I know I'm not going to make it up to there, but I could try my hardest to at least get more than what I'm thinking of getting in terms of contract years and money. But honestly, if I'm being honest, if I get that contract offered one day or something, I'm accepting it on the spot. That's all I'm saying. I will accept more than 300 million if I'm staying on the same team for 10 years or more. Sign me up. As long as they build a good roster of players surrounded by me, or if I could help them actually, because I don't know if you know this, but Shohei Ohtani has deferred actually more than 68 million of his contract every year, because it's 700 million for 10 years. So he's getting 70 every single year.
Oh, dang.
If I'm correct. Yes. Every single year, up until his 10 years is up, he's only getting 2 million from the Dodgers. So he's getting, every single year, he's only getting 2 million from the Dodgers, but everything else is from endorsements. But here's where everything that started happening with the Dodgers, a lot of people hating on the Dodgers, they deferred 68 million of that into the next 10 years after that. So technically, they're paying Ohtani 20 years, 700 million. 10 years is going to be 2 million. The next 10 years, once he's retired, they're still going to be paying him $68 million while he's literally sitting at his couch doing nothing. He's going to be earning $68 million every single year.
Yeah.
And that's another question. That's why a lot of people right now do not like the Dodgers, because they're actually using money to get better players. There's a reason why last year they won the World Series. They wasted their money on good players. They saw they knew what they wanted to do, win championships. They already won one. They're trying to go for another one. And that's what happens when you waste money the right way and you surround yourself with good players all around and people who want to be there to win a championship and not just mess around or do anything to not make playoffs or even win a championship.
So they're greedy.
In a way, people say they're greedy, but I mean, I think in baseball,
you have to be greedy.
You have to be greedy in a way, because let's be honest, every sport, yes, they do something, but at the end of the day, it's a business. Mm-hmm.
Everything's a business.
Everything's a business, yeah. But in sports, it's something else. People may think, oh, this player's staying here, this, and that. No. If he gets the money, he or she gets the right money that they want, they will leave on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think, honestly, in all of the sports, I think baseball is probably the most, like, business-wise, because I believe that is the only sport that does not have a salary cap floor. So any general manager can literally waste a huge amount of money if they want to, but they don't want to. And that's why people are mad with the Dodgers. But at the same time, it's like your owner is the one that doesn't want to waste the money. He can. They're millionaires, billionaires. What the Dodgers are doing is good. Mm-hmm. Now that happened, ever since that happened, you saw the Mets sign Juan Soto for his record-breaking deal. Now you see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. signing another $500 million deal at age 26. But in my opinion, at age 26. But I don't know how I feel about his contract, only because I do not see him as a primary defender, the defensive guy. He's more of an offensive guy. He's gonna give you all the runs you need, all this and that. But if you're gonna pay a guy $500 million for 10 years, if you're gonna pay a guy $500 million for 10 years, he has to be an overall good player and not just be good in one spot, one skill.
Has to be a jack of all trades. Is that the correct term? Jack of all trades?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What do you think about all of this going on with the contracts?
Well, I mean, yeah, it depends on. Well, I feel like getting more pay compared to others is obviously unfair, but at the end of the day, it's a business. Everybody's going to get paid differently, and it depends on the skill level. So, would it make sense to give somebody $500 million if they do zero? What is it called? Hits?
0 hits?
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be. Yeah. Wouldn't be
because you could basically just sit around doing nothing and still get paid. Yeah.
I'm just another example about the contracts. Why? In my opinion, I think these contracts are bad only because I don't think players would want to stay for all those years. They're going to retire sooner or later. But if it was a contract from maybe up to 5 years, 6 or 7, that would be an ideal baseball contract. But now starting 10 or 4 up to 15 or 14 years, it's okay, what age, how old will he be when his contract runs out? Because best believe, 37, 38 years old,
you're
retired.
Not gonna be good.
Yeah, you're already retired. You're either in the league somehow, some way, but you're not good as you were before. Or
you lost all your
skill, everything you had, it's gone. Or you're just sitting at home already retired and still getting you're getting bank every year.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. And we're over here doing a podcast. But that's the thing. So it all depends on the skill the player gives to the team.
Yeah.
And then what other ones we could also talk about? Oh, another example would be Angels baseball team. Their third baseman Anthony Rendon. 2019 wins a title with the Washington Nationals. Next year, he leaves and joins the Angels. Signs a huge $300 million deal, 325 or something around there. And he has only played, I believe, less than 200 games. Theoretically, he should have already been playing more than 400 or 500. Mm-hmm. And he's only played, I think, less than 200 or barely 200 or something around there. And it's not because he wants to, but he's getting injured. But the thing is, he has openly said many things about playing baseball. He just said, it's a job for me. It's not my number one priority.
Yeah. It's always a job.
Yeah.
It's not a hobby at that point.
But it comes to question, do these type of players with this type of, mindset, do they deserve also that type of money? Because if you're just going to say, oh, it's a job, blah, 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 I'm only here just to do this, get money, boom, there. Do you want that mindset on a team, or do you want a mindset that says, I don't care about the money. Give me just good amount of years with the team. But I want to win a championship with that. That's why I don't care about the money, because I want to have an overall good team surrounded by me as long as I'm here for these, 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. But that's the main thing. And that's what I think. But I don't know, because I'm pretty sure sooner or later these contracts are going to go more higher up than what they are right now.
Pay's going to get higher and higher.
Literally. That's true. But with that being said, we could switch on to our final segment coming up right now.
Welcome back.
And now for our last segment, we're going to be talking about the recent struggles of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So beginning with how after starting the season 8-0 as a defending champ, and that being the best record for a defending champ, coming in for a defending champ the next season, that's the best record ever. And being in first place, actually. The Dodgers are now 9-4, losing their last 4 or 5 games. And they now sit in third place in the NL West. While teams do struggle throughout the season, the Dodgers aren't a team that will struggle like other teams. Because all around, they have all that talent to win games and not lose a lot. But after losing their first game to the Philadelphia Phillies, breaking their undefeated streak, it's gone downhill from there for the Dodgers. Starting with the lineup. The lineup has the star talent that it needs to win games and do their job. But that bottom part of the lineup has not been showing all their talent that they know. Starting from the 6th spot player, Michael Conforto, the left fielder, he's batting a whopping .235 batting average. Then we go on to the 7th hole, which is Max Muncy. He's at a 190 average. Then Kike Hernandez is at a 111 batting average. And then off with Andy Pages sitting at a 162.
Yeah, we all know that the Dodgers will not be in this struggle for much. But the question is, how will the bottom of the lineup play later in the season, as they are already struggling early on in the season? So, what are your opinions?
I think, it's the start of the season. There's a lot of people already being worried, myself included. I'm a Dodger fan. So I do worry about this, because you just came off winning a World Series title.
Yeah. And
you made huge moves to make your team better. But you also have liabilities on defense. Yeah. I could start off with Max Muncy, the third baseman. Too many errors. But yeah, he hits. But the thing is, if he's not hitting or he's not being good on offense, it's a strikeout. He's not going to do anything else. But on defense, he's a really huge liability. But I also think that if they continue doing this, more than likely, I would expect them to make a trade for another another player, to get them to boost their offense and defense. Because that's what I'm thinking right now, is I would likely see a trade happening for them. Because the huge liability right now that people are recently talking about is center field with Andy Pages, who is honestly under the average good of being a center fielder. I don't think he's a good center fielder. I don't think he's good in defense. That's what I think. But if they make a good trade, there's a chance. Yeah, they place him on the bench. I'll feel bad for him. But at the same time, that spot is secured by a better player. What are your thoughts about that, Matt?
Well, I mean, you said that they did good during the World Series, correct? So I feel like they just got cocky in advance, and then just thought, if we win that one, we might as well just do what we did last season.
Just run the same team back again without any problems and all that. Yeah.
Rinse and repeat, which obviously, as you said, isn't really working.
It's not working right now, yeah. And yeah, people might be I might be overreacting but I want to see the team show their potential.
Your home state team.
I want to see them to their true potential. And if they're running it with the same team back, you got to remember, the Dodgers, I believe, are the third or fourth oldest team in the league. Mm-hmm. So at some point, you got to know, let's give these younger guys in our organization a chance to show what they're capable of. There's been many instances that they have, and they've worked out well. But the thing is, they don't stay with the Dodgers. They move to another team. But it's also, that right there is what matters the most. Because those players that came up from their organizations were really good defenders. And now that they're not on it, Dodgers are scrambling to get more players in for that position. But the thing is, they don't really look to see how their defense is. In my personal opinion, the Dodgers hit for home runs. They hit for power. They'll go for defense, but from what I've been seeing, there's no defense at all. Shown. There's no.
They want to show their.
They don't want to show anything. Yeah, they're just there. Show off. Yeah, just to show off. Yeah, they're hitting home runs. They're scoring runs, but at the end of the day, it's baseball. You can score a lot of runs, and you can still lose if your defense isn't on point to save all those runs.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Dodgers? Just what do you think actually of them running it back again? Do you think they would make a trade if they see continuously? Let's just say another month happens, another month goes by, and they're bottom of the lineup. The last 4 players are doing horrible. Would you think they want to get a trade, or do you think they should give one of their players, their younger talents, a chance to go on there?
Well, I feel like they should give their younger players a chance because they're at their prime.
Yes.
They have potential. Put them up.
You think that they should put them up in there, just see how it goes in the big leagues? Yeah. And if it goes good, stick with them?
Mm-hmm. Because you can't use the same lineup over and over again and expect success.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And that's what a lot of teams do not realize, that, you could use the same lineup, but not day in, day out. It's not going to be the same outcome that you want to have. You may get the win, you may get the lose. But if you're using that same lineup, teams are going to be like, oh, they're using this lineup again. We know our game plan. But if you come out one day, different lineup, or every day, different lineup, okay, they're putting him to bat number 1 or 2, 5, 6. Okay, we're going to have to switch up our game plan, which is a huge thing. But that's what I'm thinking. But in my opinion, I believe these struggles will go away soon because Dodgers aren't going to struggle like this. They probably will later on in the season, but struggling like this right now at the beginning when we're barely 2 or 3 weeks into the season.
It's just the start.
It's just a start. Yeah, it's just a start, but
it might look like a bad omen right now, but there's always a chance to come back.
It could, yeah. And they're still on pace. They're still the best team in the league. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure they are. Let's be honest here. But
you're not saying that out of bias.
No bias. Unbiased right here. I do believe they are the best team. But you also got to remember these injuries that the Dodgers have gotten. It's a struggle. That's another struggle with them. And hopefully they could fix it up. All their pitchers have gotten injured. And that's the one thing. That's their one problem with them, is too many injuries leads to too many struggles. They start panicking. Okay, let's throw this guy in here. Let's throw this guy over there. Boom, this, and that. And now that's why I honestly think the reason why some of these batters are struggling is because they move them around too much. Mm-hmm. They want to know what place they're in, what's their place in the team. They don't want to come one day, oh, I'm starting, okay. Come in the next day, oh, you're benched, you're not going to play. Come in the next game, you're benched again. You got to remember, baseball is a huge confidence. You have to have huge confidence to have a good skill. To have good skill, good confidence. And in my opinion, I think baseball is the toughest sport there because, I mean, let's be honest, you're trying to hit a small little ball.
Hitting a tiny ball, with kind of like tennis, but with a significantly narrower.
Yeah, and then you're using a stick, but it's a bat. But you're basically using a
giant
thinner stick, yes, and to hit that. But yeah, that's the thing. That's one of the struggles that I really hope the Dodgers pick it up sooner or later. But I hope soon because
You don't want to see your team lose.
It's better to struggle right now than to do this again come playoff time, and that impacting you to get a World Series, to go race for that World Series championship.
Yeah. So you still have hope for them?
I still have hope for them. I mean, season doesn't end until October, September actually, but get the struggles out right now.
You can't give up on your home.
Yeah,
home team.
Can't give up on them. Come in day out. Just have the same mentality of winning games. Talk to players. Players should just be honest and just talk about it. Just hopefully that's what helps them out with it. And get rid of this struggle. Be better. And that's what they should do. And that is going to do it.
Yep, that's the time.
Our podcast and
the first episode of Beyond the Game.
Yes, sir. And then we will be back next week with our second episode, exploring not just baseball, but we'll be talking about NBA with their playoffs and maybe even other different sports you guys may not know that we may be even talking about here. But that's going to do it for our episode. This has been Edwin Ramos
and Matthew Murillo.
And we will see you next week.
Till next time.